TBR, Skeleton Key here, and yeah, it is February, and I'm finally getting started on my February TBR. Well, okay, I'm not just now starting on it. I've been for several days been working out things that are definitely on the TBR, and I've already, even as of yesterday, I had almost an entire page of books. Well, not that many, but I had more than half a page of books written down. And now I get to have the fun of randomizing. Then I'll put them in some semblance of order, and then I can show you the whole bunch. But for now, let's go see what the dice tell me to read. Okay, so as usual, my toughest challenge is my personal reading challenge. That's the one where I rolled over everything I failed at last year. Heh. Gee, I wonder why it's so big. And this is a self-perpetuating problem unless I do something about it this year. I need to read 6 books this month to stay on track. And I have 3 already on my TBR. For this roll, I'm going to focus on my Lost Lindsay levels section of my TBR. So I've got a D6. There are 5 titles. There are 5 prompts to choose from. So I'm rolling a D6, and if I roll a 6, I will roll again. And that is a 4. And that is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. That is the second book in that trilogy. I do not currently have a copy, so I will need to figure out where I'm going to source that from. For my next roll, I'm going to go up to my epic fails from last year. These are ones that These are prompts that I have failed at 2 years in a row. So there are 12 prompts, and I'm rolling a d12. And let's see. What is that? That is a 6. And that is my longest standing TBR book on Goodreads, which is Animals Make Us Human, Creating the Best Life for Animals by Temple Grandin. And for my final roll for my personal reading challenge, let's go back to the Lost Lindsay levels, and I'll roll a d4. And that is a 4, which is Read a Book by John Creasy, and that will be Theft of Magna Carta. That'll be nice to get back to that one. All right, now we're on to my sync downloads, and I need to read 5, or rather listen to 5 of these. And I've got it split into 2 lists. One has 25 books remaining on it. The other has 26 books remaining on it. So here's what I'm going to do. The D4, odd means first list, even means the second list. And then I will add the values of the D20 and the D6, and then if it's an odd 26, then I will roll again. Make sense? Sure. All right, so here's my first. Okay, so that is a 3, so that is odd. So the first list, and 3 plus 6 is 9. And the 9th book on the first list is something called The First Time She Drowned. And I'll have to tell you more about that one later, because that's pretty much all I know about it. So how about this time, let's just go with the second list, which has 26 books on it, and we'll just add the D20 and the D6. That is 8. And that is something called Disappeared. I seem to recall that it's the first book in a series, and it's maybe a mystery or psychological suspense or something like that. We'll take a look. Okay, now let's roll a d20 and a d4, and we'll go back to the first list and see what we get. That is a 1 and a 9. I think that's a 1. Yes. And that is a play called An Enemy of the People by Henrik Ibsen. And I have actually already read that when I was in high school. I loved that when I was in high school. So it will be interesting to see what I think of it as an adult now. So let's try doing one from each list at the same time. So I've got 23 so I have 23 left on the first list and 25 left on the second list. So I'm going to roll a d20, and then for the first list, I'll add the d4, and the second list, I'll add the d6, and of course, if I roll a 24 and or a 26, then I will re-roll that one. So the d20 is 14. So 14 plus 4 is 18, and 14 plus 4 is 18. What do you know? Okay, so 18 on the first list was not Yaqui Delgado wants to kick your ass, but I miscounted, and I'd already wrote it down, and I don't want to deal with it. So we're going with Yaqui Delgado wants to kick your ass, even though it wasn't actually 18 on the list. 18th on the second list, however, was something called Hope Nation. YA authors share personal moments of inspiration. Okay, we're down to Swords and Stars. I had a bunch more challenges in there that I actually already had enough already on my TBR to cover them. In theory, of course. Practically speaking, there's no way I'm going to get through this entire list. But anyway, we're down to Swords and Stars. I need 2 books, and I'm down to 13 prompts. So now I'm rolling a d8 and a d6, and I just realized, how on some of those things I was rolling 2 dice, and then I was like, oh, but if I get the top one, then I'll re-roll. And actually, if I'm rolling 2 dice, then I can't roll a 1. So this could potentially add up to 14. So if I end up rolling a 14, then the 14 is 1. Does that make sense? I don't know. But here we go. That is 6 and 5. 11. And that is a book with a video game or virtual reality-based element. So I think Space Opera Insertion, which is a lit RPG book. I think that counts. So I'm going to put that down. And now I'm down to 12 prompts, so I can just roll a d12. And yeah. That is a 7. And 7 is an SFF graphic novel. So I'm not entirely certain, but I think I might actually already have one on my TBR. It's called Pretty Deadly Volume 1, The Shrike. So I'm going to go with that for now, but I may end up having to change that because I don't really know what that's about. All right, let's tackle this February TBR for reals. I have collected all of my physical TBR books, and I have sourced all of my ebooks and audiobooks, and one of them is even a physical audiobook, The Huntress, and that's by Kate Quinn, and that is for High Tea Book Club, I think. High Tea? No. Oh. And that is for my neighborhood book club. I think it's either World War II or Cold War. I forget which. In the aftermath of the war. Okay, the hunter. In the aftermath of the war, the hunter becomes the hunted. So yeah, it is Cold War or post World War II. Hunting Nazis. So yay. I'm always up for some good Nazi hunting. So that is an audiobook that I've borrowed from the library, and it is due pretty quick here, so I better get to listening to that. It's like 15 CDs long, so. And then I did finish listening to The Door already by Magda Sabo, so that's that. I have crossed off my TBR list already. Next is The Woman in the Green Dress, which I have started listening to. I'm making pretty good progress on that. And that is for High Tea Book Club. And then next is Gideon the Ninth, which I also have a physical copy of. And that one I started on it I think in December. And I'm confused, so I'm gonna try listening and reading at the same time and see if that lessens my confusion any. Then I've got some Sirens books on here that I've downloaded. Looks like just 2 of them that I've downloaded from Hoopla, which is the library. And one is called Maybe a Fox, and the other one is called Lilani of the Distant Sea. So maybe I will get a little bit ahead on my Sirens reading in February, if I get that far. Oh, and then I have a bunch of books that I downloaded on Overdrive from the Audiophile Magazine Sync program, summer reading program. And those I've picked The First Time She Drowned, Disappeared, An Enemy of the People, Yaqui Delgado Wants to Kick Your Ass, and Hope Nation. Then ebooks, I've started reading Death of a Busybody, and that is for Traps and Trench Coats. I am still working on The Yellow House. I renewed that on Hoopla. Then Dreadnought, April Daniels. I'm wanting to say April Daniels is the author on that. And that's on Hoopla. I think that's a YA book. Not entirely certain. But that's a Sirens book. Another Sirens book is Pretty Deadly, Volume 1, The Shrike, and I think that is a graphic novel or a volume of a comic book series. And then I'm continuing on with The Sandman's Journal, Volume 1. Then, somewhere in here, I'm still trying to get in some reading on Le Comte de Monte Cristo. It's still very slow going, but I'm still plugging along on that. And then I've got a bunch of digital arcs that I need to read for NetGalley, so I have a whole separate video on that. Then I have It's Good to Tell You. I probably don't have that borrowed anymore. I'll have to go see if I can renew that or check it out again from I think I got that from like Open Library, something like that. And that is a collection of folk tales and it's a bilingual edition. It does have English translations. The original language was Missouri French or Pawpaw French, or sometimes it's called like Southern Illinois French. But it's an old dialect of French that has, I think, like a dozen speakers left. And I know there has been an effort to revive the language, and I'm not sure how successful that's been. And then Beowulf, which so for book snobs, they went with my selection of Beowulf, and I don't know what I've let myself in for, but yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, so on Hoopla I've downloaded a bilingual edition of the Old English with modern English. I think it's side by side. I haven't even opened it yet, so we'll see. Because I had downloaded what I thought was an audiobook of the Old English. I thought, well, that'd be interesting to listen to and see what it sounds like. And turns out it's just like a few passages. It's super short, and then it's a bunch of excerpts of other things in Old English. I'm like, well, that might be cool and interesting, but that's not what I need right now. But I'll take a look at this ebook. But I also already own the, I think it's Seamus Haney translation from about 20 years ago. And then I want to also read, there's a newer translation out that's supposed to be modern English, like 21st century English. So we'll see. But those are my ebooks. All right, so the world of print. So, and I'm just going to try to go through these really kind of quick. It's been a heck of a week, and I'm just, yeah. And some of these I know less about than others, so I'm just going to show them to you without a whole lot of commentary. So first we have Burnout by Emily Nagoski and Amelia Nagoski. And this is for LHR Society. Made for Love. And this is for the Fucked Up Book Club. I have one friend outside of the book club who has already read it, and she absolutely hated it. And from what she says about it, I suspect I will also hate it too, but I will definitely give it a shot, and we'll see. I can always DNF it and send it back to the library where it came from. And then, of course, Dark and Deepest Dread, which I have already started on, and I'm enjoying so far. And that is for Strange Worlds. The Mona Lisa Sisters by George Kramer. And this is for one of my Sisters in Crime book clubs. And this is The Gauntlet by Karuna Riazi. And I believe this is YA, looks steampunkish, looks really cool. Alright, Maria Devana Headley wrote The Mere Wife, and this is a retelling of Beowulf. I don't know, it's like, all of a sudden, I'm just like, all things Beowulf. And I don't know what... Well, this is a Sirens book, so that's probably what got me interested in... No, because I picked... I don't know, I just... And I didn't really plan it. There's no actual reason that all of a sudden I'm really into Beowulf. But this is a Sirens book. And Midnight at the Barclay Hotel by Flora Bradley. And this is for another Sisters in Crime book club. And I've got 2 more stacks, and now I'm trying to remember which order they go in. I think I go this stack next. Yes. Slice of Cherry by D.R. Eves, which is a Sirens book. And How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. I'm reading it specifically this month for Genreland because Genreland's theme is anti-racist this month. There are a lot of challenges this year that do have like BLM or anti-racist themes worked into their prompts. And yeah, I did get a hold of The Haunting of Bren Wilder, so you know that challenge is passed. But this was the group read book, so I will see what I think. My Name is Aram. Who is that by? William Saroyan. And this was, I think, on the Elif the Reader challenge to read a book by an Armenian author. And I believe this author is Armenian American. I think that might be as close as I can get without doing a whole lot more research. So we'll see if that is close enough for that challenge. My Life as a Villainess by Laura Lippman. I've been hearing a lot of good buzz about this, and I'm really mad at myself that I still haven't finished this, but I am enjoying it. Here we go, Gideon the Ninth. Still have not reread this. Mysterious Ferret Styles, Agatha Christie. And that's 2 books on a secret TBR. Temple Grandin, Animals Make Us Human. Theft of Magna Carta by John Creasy. Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is my tarot deck, and this is the guidebook. And I ended up because I'm trying to do a tarot read, something tarot related each month. But in January, I ended up reading a fiction book that featured tarot. What was that? Oh, it was a Sisters in Crime book. And now I can't. I can see the cover, but I can't read the name of the author or the title on the cover. Tess Thompson. The author is Tess Thompson. Why can't I remember the title of this book? But anyway, yeah, so I guess I'm gonna have to do. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to do like a wrap up for January, which I have not done yet. I'm doing everything all out of order. It's all discombobulated. But yeah, so when I get my January wrap up video, watch that, and by then surely I will have found the name of the book again. But that one of the characters in that was a tarot reader, and so that counts as my tarot read. And I also had this grand plan of like doing daily tarot card pulls, and for January I was going to use this deck, and I was just not feeling it last month. I don't know. Sometimes I would do like a 3-card spread for the week, and I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And I was not in tune with the cosmos or whatever. Then my lit RPG read, Rift Worlds Online, 2 more secret TBR books, The Glass Forest by Cynthia Swanson, and this is for Sisters in Crime. The Glass Forest is a book that I just got today from the library. I got 3 books today, and I'm trying to do better about actually reading my library books within like the first renewal or so, because I'm just, I have, as you've already seen, I have books that have been on my TBR for a long time, and I just keep renewing them. You get 6 renewals. For the ones from my library, you get 6 renewals. So yeah, I gotta do better. But then one of the books I picked up today is Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I don't remember exactly why it made it onto the February list. Maybe it was a dice roll. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did dice rolls for a bunch of these. So you probably already know about some of these, but now you're getting to see what they look like. And then this is the group read for Historathon, The Yellowbird Sings, and I just got that from the library today, and that is by Jennifer Rosner. And then, okay, so my last 5 books, I already did a separate video for those, so I'm not going to spoil that video here. So I will put a link to that video up here somewhere, and you can go look at that. That's that scavenger hunt that Leanne at Literary Diversions is doing for February. And yeah, I know we're already well into February, and I'm just getting all this done. But yeah, welcome to my life. This is my life. But yeah, so I have not counted these books. I don't know. I do know they will not all fit on my little space that I carved out on the shelf. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. So these are the ones that will actually fit on the shelf. And then these are the ones that I'm going to go ahead and take upstairs, and these will be my priority ones that I will work on first. And hopefully that way maybe I'll be able to like focus on these a little bit. But there you have it. And I still haven't counted them, but yeah. So yeah, this is my physical TBR. And we'll see how far I get with this. I mean, it's not even a week gone, and I have already finished 3 of my books. So, maybe it won't be that bad, but 3 times 4 is only 12, and that's... Thankfully, there are some short books in here. So, I mean, Firewatch is pretty short. I've even started on Theft of Magna Carta, and it's pretty short. So I should be able to do pretty well. But I do hope that your February is off to a good start. Let me know if you can actually fit all of your TBR onto a single shelf. You probably can, because you're not crazy like me. That's all for now. So please like and subscribe, and see you around.